Chanel here, and I am joined by the lovely Blessing.
Hello, everyone.
Who led the Mike Brown Vigil back in November. And she was going to come talk to us today about intersectionality and its importance in feminism, as well as the Mike Brown case and everything like that. So what inspired you to actually put it together?
Honestly, I've been thinking of trying to get something like this on campus, but I feel like UBC is such an apathetic campus that I never thought it would work. But after the verdict came out, the grand jury verdict, I was like infuriated, and I knew so many other people that were like, this should not have happened. How can we do something to sort of stand in solidarity with Ferguson, but also bring this issue to light, because it is prevalent everywhere, this type of anti-blackness that is erupted in police brutality, which is also very prevalent among our Indigenous population in Canada. I kind of was just talking about it, ranting, and I threw that idea out there to the UBC Women's Centre, because I'm one of the coordinators, and everyone was down to do it. And it was like Wednesday night, and we had 2 days, but we have to do it before finals start. So I basically just got on social media, talked to a bunch of people, and this event just came to be.
For viewers who may not know what intersectionality is, I was wondering if you could give like a little definition.
Okay, I'm gonna try and make this as simple and cohesive as possible.
Perfect.
But basically, everyone has an identity, and we're not just made of one entity or one thing. We're just this huge amalgamation of everything put together. So basically, intersectionality looks at how our different identities and parts of our identities intersect, and how this is influenced by discrimination, domination, and and oppression. So a classic example would probably be with a black woman. Usually when she faces discrimination, it's not just because she's black or not just because she's a woman. It's somewhere in between that, and that's the same for anyone else that experiences these.
Exactly. A lot of people in power, usually white men, when they're putting together, policies to, promote diversity within the workplace, they only think of women or, minorities. They don't think of the people who are in between or who have different parts of their identity, like, for example, transgender individuals or disabilities, age, all of that stuff.
So many things.
They don't think of any of that. They're just like, okay, there's women, and there's, black people, and if we just say we need this amount of, African Canadians, and we need this amount of women, we're good.
Yeah.
And then you end up with the token black person, the token woman.
Exactly. And I think that just shows how screwed up our society is. If we have to have a quota of who to put in, it's ridiculous.
I know. But what can we do to change that?
The best place to start is by listening to people. When they tell you that they're being oppressed, when they tell you that they're facing discrimination, they're not just making this up. These are parts of their lives that are it's just such a huge part that affects them, that I think that when they talk to you, don't just be like, nah, it's not that big a deal, just brush it off. That's when we normalize this type of behavior, and then it can go very wide scale, just like the Mike Brown case.
What are some things you think that, white people in general and men can do to promote voices of women in color?
I think because they have such high positions in society, positions where people actually listen to them, where people think that they're a legitimate person to hear these issues from, I think that they should carve out spaces for women of color or for other minorities and other people that are facing oppression, where they can go and talk about their oppression, where people will listen. And I think the number one thing is to make sure people listen. That's really all you can do, is listen to this person. They actually know what they're talking about. That's so important. I always say to my white friends that honestly, 10 of my voices is the same as one of theirs. People don't listen to my oppression, but people listen when they tell them about my oppression, which is a little bit ridiculous, but...
I know, it is totally ridiculous. You see the same thing with just feminism in general. You have a lot more people listening now that there are men speaking out.
The Emma Watson speech, getting men, he for she.
I know.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, the he for she speech?
I'm not against men being a part of the movement. I think that's important. I think that we can't really overcome things just with women, because we're in such subordinate positions in society. But at the same time, I don't think the whole movement should be about he for she.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I definitely think that men have an important role to play in feminism. But the concept that, they're the protectors is benign gender roles, whatever type of thing, and it doesn't really change anything.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. Not at all once you think about it. Yeah.
But anyway, kudos to Emma Watson for actually putting feminism out there.
That's true.
We need that.
Trending topic. Yeah. Honestly, I think it's so great that this pop feminism is kind of coming about, because then people get interested in it and they Google search it, and you know that could lead to better learning opportunities, I feel like.
Yeah, awesome. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about, or?
I just want to shout out to the Women's Center.
Yes, Women's Center.
They help so much, and it's in sub 245. So if you ever need a place to chill, there's awesome blankets, there's couches, there's tons of snacks. Just a great place. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.